Hi, this is Chris from the Project Management Guide. This video is about the business drivers and business case for your project. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the business drivers for your project, and I'm going to talk about why we need to understand what they are and how they impact your project. And then in a moment, I'm going to talk about the business case and why we need to understand what that is and how we need to document that in some form so that we can manage our projects better. So let's start by talking about the business drivers for your project. And what we're really trying to understand here is why we're doing the project in the first place. So it's really important to understand that and talk to your sponsor or your customer to understand what the project's all about and why they're doing the project. And if you understand the reasons why they're doing it, then it can really help you to structure the project and run it much more effectively as you go along. So in terms of the actual business drivers that we might have on the project, then typically they fall into sort of four broad categories. So the first one is an operational business driver. So we might have a project where we're trying to increase the efficiency of an operational process, or we might be trying to reduce the running costs of the business, or we might be trying to reduce the risk in our business, or it might be some sort of health and safety risk or some other operational type of business driver. We might also be trying to look at a sales and income based business driver. So we might be trying to increase revenue, we might be introducing new products or enhancing our existing products or services, or we might be trying to take advantage of a new market opportunity. If we were in the public sector, we might be introducing a new service, so a new public service or a new facility that the public are going to use. And then finally, we've got the must-do category of business drivers. So in this category, we're looking at projects that need to be delivered to meet new legislation or standards or regulation or tax law or something like that on a project. So these are the sort of projects that we've got to do them really, and normally they've got a deadline attached in terms of timescales. These are sort of the must-do projects. So we've got to do these, otherwise we won't meet the regulations. And it's fair to say that projects quite often they can cover all any number of these sort of categories. So sometimes they might just hit one of the categories here, but sometimes projects can cover all three or four of these categories as well. So let's talk about the business case now. So in some organisations, the business case is a really formal document, and it outlines the business drivers and the business benefits for doing the project. And sometimes it can be written by somebody else. So it might be an external consultant might have come in to write it, or there might have been somebody in a strategy team or somebody like that might have written the business case for you. So and sometimes as a project manager, you're given a sort of high-level business case, and sometimes you have to work with a business case and turn it into something a bit more solid. So you might have to set up a discovery phase, for example, to turn that business case into a more solid document and really work it through and do the real pros and cons and expand that business case. And some organisations don't actually use formal business cases at all. So they might use discovery processes and that sort of thing, but there might not be a formal business case document that's written. And that, again, I've worked on a number of projects where we haven't had formal business cases. It's important to note that in terms of a business case, it's not always possible to work out the financial analysis or the return on the investment in a project. So many projects it is. You can work out what the return is, or weigh up the costs versus the benefits. But sometimes it's just not possible to do that. For example, I worked on a project once where we were working on a joint venture with another company, and that project was all about marketing and PR and working together with that other company. So in terms of the financial return, it's quite difficult to really work out what the financial benefit of doing that project was all about. So it's not always about the financial return of a project. Ideally, as a project manager, you've got a written down business case that's been agreed before the project started, and everything's clear and everything's up to date, etc. But that isn't always the case. And as I said, I've worked on a number of projects that don't have a formal business case. But as a minimum, you need to write down some business benefits and agree that with your sponsor and or your customer, and get that written down into your project plan document. So the purpose of the business case is to help you define the project and help you to run it once you're up and running with the project. Whether you've got a written down or formal business case or not, you need to outline the business benefits, and you need to state any metrics that have been agreed or any financial return on the investment, etc. So that needs to be written down, whether it's in a business case document or in the project plan document. And then you can use that as a reference framework for scoping out the requirements and working out the objectives and the deliverables for your project. And then you can use that as a reference document all the way out throughout the rest of the project to make sure that you're still hitting those benefits during the project. So you'll assess that at your various project board meetings, etc. So that's the reason why we have a business case in the first place. It helps us make better decisions at the start of the project in terms of scoping and defining the project, and then it helps us as a reference all the way through the project as we go. So understanding the business drivers for your project is really important. It's all about understanding why we're doing the project in the first place. And you might have a formal business case, which is a written down document outlining the business drivers, any business benefits and any return on the investment, but you might not have a formal business case either. So, but the minimum you need to have for your project is to have it written down in your project plan document. So you need to outline the business benefits and the drivers and any financial analysis. Outline that either in a separate document or as part of your project plan document. And you need this information because it helps you define the project in the planning and definition phase. And it also, you can use it then throughout the project for reference to make sure that you're still hitting the benefits and that you're going to realise the return on the investment that you're making in the project. Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe on the button below. If you want to find out more information, check us out at theprojectmanagementguide.com. And if you've got any comments, I'd love to hear what you're up to with your business cases and your business drivers and how you're getting on fleshing all of those out. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.